Welcome to They Tried to Bury Us. My name is Tamer Kattan. I'll be your host. I'm a comedian, a writer, and an actor. I was born in Egypt and moved to America when I was just a kid, so I'm very proud of being an immigrant. And ever since I started doing comedy, I've met more and more immigrants, and I have found more and more amazing stories, and that's what this podcast is all about. Each week, I'm going to have a new guest. They're going to sit down and share with us their American origin stories, and we're going to get to know each other better, and we're going to find out that we're all just the same. So tune in each week, tell every single person you know, and thanks for listening. Hi, welcome back to another episode of They Tried to Bury Us. I'm Tamer Kattan, and with me, as always, is my co-host,
Kity.
Thanks for being here, Mom.
I am happy to be here.
You're wearing so many different pieces of clothes.
I can't believe it. I'm too cold. No, it's just 2 pieces, 3 pieces.
3 pieces.
One was long sleeve. Second one, cashmere was half sleeve.
Cashmere,
and
you're so
third
fancy.
One, jacket.
And I love that you're still wearing the a necklace.
Oh my God.
No, that's not my necklace.
This is, stop it.
That's not my necklace. I bought her necklace and she returned it, and she got that one. No and way. Now she wears it and wears it in front of my face.
Oh my God.
That's okay.
You got me wrong one.
That's okay.
He always give me good gift.
You look great.
No. He gave me good gift, but it was too long. And he knows that I don't like too long like that. So he says he will short it for you. I went to the store. They say, no, we cannot short it for you. So they lie to him. So it's not my fault to change it.
I love that we've explained this story.
You make fun of me front to everyone.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just teasing you.
Paul,
you know what I love?
He's a witness.
Hey, Paul, isn't this the 3rd episode we've talked about this necklace? This is the 3rd episode.
Paul, we wanted to do our income tax. Oh my God, he tell everybody about it. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed.
Our tax accountant has a huge case of Star Wars figurines.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes me trust him more or less.
He's like little kids.
He is. He's like a little kid, and he does our taxes. That's terrifying.
He's awesome. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Mom, I'm really excited to introduce our guest for this episode. Shark is the name that he goes by, but tell me your real name. Say it.
My real name is Bogdan Grebeniuk.
Bogdan Grebeniuk. Did I say it right?
Very right.
Oh, that name is so badass.
Yeah.
And it fits you because you're badass, dude.
I appreciate it.
I got it. You're a boxing and fitness trainer.
Yes.
We met at a boxing gym in Santa Monica, and I got to tell you, like right away, you stand out. Right. Like your energy stands out. And I approached you for the podcast because I knew there was a story. And I knew they called you Shark because before you were a boxing and fitness trainer, you were a professional swimmer.
I was a professional swimmer, and I had a little bit of experience in amateur boxing as well.
Get the mic close to your mouth.
Got it.
Pretend you're a shark, and then the mic's a fish.
Got it.
So you were a professional swimmer, and what else?
And an amateur boxer.
And an amateur boxer.
Yes.
And you have some badass photos on your Instagram. Your Instagram is like protein powder. Like when I feel like I want to put on some muscle, I go to your Instagram.
That's funny. That's a funny way to describe that.
And also, I was really stoked to talk to you because a lot of my favorite boxers are actually Ukrainians.
Yeah.
And then you came in, and then I was like, "Where's this guy from?" And then I found out you were Ukrainian. I'm like, "Oh, this is starting to make sense now."
Yep.
So you moved here from the Ukraine. How long ago?
I first came to the United States in 2011. So, almost 8 years ago.
8 years ago. Oh, look how new!
Yeah.
He's so new. He's like a new Toyota. You could smell. It's like a new car smell, right?
You get so good.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
So what made you want to come to America?
So it's kind of a long story, but
we have an hour.
If I were to get to the point right away, I was a swimmer since I was 7 years old, and I was taking my career. At some point, I was taking my swim career very seriously, and long story short, I guess if you could get right to the point, in 2010. I had a heart attack during swim practice.
Wow.
I was 18 years old at the time.
How did you know you were having a heart attack? Like,
It was a swimming practice. We had a set, which was not a tough set. It was by far not the toughest set I ever had in my life at that point, even.
Especially at 18 and being an athlete
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. And so, but that set and triggered a heart attack. So there's a thing for swimmers and other endurance and athletes like track and field and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We after our sets we check our heart rate to kind of see the zone where we're working, and so anything close to 30 beats in 10 seconds or higher, that means your heart rate is really you're working hard. And so
so what is that? 30 beats for every 10 seconds, you said?
Yeah.
So that's like 180 beats a minute.
Yeah.
That's really high.
So yeah, we finished that set, and I normally I would check my heart on my neck here, but at that particular moment, I just felt my chest area was bumping really hard, and I looked down and I could see even the skin lifting, and going up and down, and I kind of freaked out. And so at that moment, it's normal for swimming pools to have those big stopwatches on walls.
Sure.
And so I look at the clock and I check my heart rate on my heart here. And it was so ridiculously fast that I had trouble counting the beats.
Wow.
But what I did count was 34. And I'm sure I miscounted. I'm sure I was wrong. It might have been faster than
Way
this.
faster, yeah.
And so I get into this panic mode, I guess you could say, and I look at my coach and I say my heartbeat is 34, and he goes, "What? Get out of here! Warm down." Warm down is a thing where after a hard set you just swim like 100 meters, nice and easy, to kind of relax and catch your breath and slow your heart rate down.
Yeah.
But I look at him and I look at my chest again, and I'm like, you know what? I really don't feel like warming down. I really feel like something is wrong here.
Yeah.
But that wasn't enough for him, I guess. So I climb out of the pool, and I see no point to continue conversation with my coach, and I go to the other coach who was having their separate practice with their swimmers. And I came up to her, it was a lady, and I say, can you help me? I think something is wrong. Look at my chest. And I stand in front of her, and my chest is literally bumping up and down, and you can see my skin is lifting. And she goes, "Well, have a seat, relax, try to breathe deeply and stuff like that." And I sit down on the bench, and at this point my mind is racing. I'm having 1,000 thoughts a second.
Of course.
And so one of the thoughts that I'm catching is, for whatever reason, I decide to go in the cold shower. I have this thought, maybe I should go and get in the cold shower. And so I stand off the bench and I start walking toward the showers area. And thank God, on my way there, I see a nurse on the pool deck. And I see this lady, and I came up to her and I said, "Listen, I think something is wrong. My heartbeat is really, really fast, and I don't feel good. I'm dizzy. I feel like I'm about to pass out. Can you help me? I don't know what to do." And she goes, "Okay, have a seat." And so, long story short, I keep feeling worse and worse, and at some point, I'm laying on this bench, and she didn't know what to do. She called an ambulance pretty much right away.
And this whole time, it's not slowing down.
It's not slowing. It wasn't slowing down. It was beating abnormally. So I'm not a doctor, and I apologize, I can't explain it in a pretty way, in a scientific way, what was going on with my heart. But basically, I was born with a heart condition, which I learned after that heart attack. Doctors told me this heart condition is called Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. They also call it Wolff's heart. And that's what triggered the heart attack. Basically, one of the arteries into my heart got blocked. Physical activity, swimming practice caused that. Yeah, triggered that blockage. And so yeah, at some point I was just laying on this little bench in this little and this nurse lady was, trying to accommodate me with all kinds of help. I don't know what exactly what she was trying to do, but she called an ambulance right away. But it took an ambulance to get almost 40 minutes to get to the swimming pool where that happened. And my parents actually got to the pool quicker than the ambulance did. And at the point when they got to the pool, I had no heart rate and my blood pressure was 0.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So your heart stopped?
Yeah.
Oh my, so you died technically.
I was technically dead. I had no heart. It's weird. They told me I had no heart rate, and they told me my blood pressure was 0, but my eyes were open, and I remember that everything that was happening.
Wow. Even when you get something wrong with you, it's badass. Wolf's heart?
No.
Wolf's heart? That's what
that's what they call it.
What a crazy experience.
Oh my God, my heart bumping.
And now her heart's going.
Listening to you, I can't believe it.
Now, is this like something? Do you look back at this and say, if I was in a different country, I would have been handled differently? Is there any? Are you upset by it at all? Or
no, I'm not upset. I look back at this day as one of the best days of my life.
Amazing.
Because unless something like that happens to you, and because basically you can put it this way. On that day, it was April 15th, 2010. On that day, I was face to face with death.
Yeah.
And I was fighting death, and I won.
Yeah.
I beat death. What else I have to be afraid? If I can beat death, what else I have to be afraid of?
Do you know what's so crazy?
Is there anything else I can be afraid of?
You're absolutely right. And it's a crazy thing because there's this weird thing, because I think being an athlete might have been what triggered it, but being an athlete is probably what gave you the strength to fight it.
Absolutely.
Like if you weren't in such great shape, you might not have survived that.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Because you've heard these stories before about there's a real famous one about the NBA player. There's a basketball player who was like a star and top level of fitness. And he went out on the court and just fell down and had a heart attack and passed away. So you're right. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that you faced death and beat it. People have faced that and not come back.
Yeah.
So it's probably changed the way you look at life at a very early age, at 18.
It 100% did. It 100% did. It opened my own eyes to on myself. I started to view myself as a different person after that. It opened my eyes in a lot of other ways. My circle of people has changed after that. I saw how some people reacted after that happened. Some of the people who I thought were my friends ended up not even reaching out to me.
Wow.
And they knew. Everybody knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not.
Why did they not reach out? Is it because it was the end of your swimming career? Did you feel like?
I don't fucking know. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
So some people.
I think
did,
some people get scared. I think people get scared and they don't know what to say, and they don't like probably the discomfort of even talking about death, especially at such a young age that they probably put their own feelings ahead of yours and just didn't call.
I don't know. Yeah. What I do know is everything happens for a reason.
100%.
And so that event kind of filtered some people out of my life, and I'm glad it did.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sometimes the bad thing happen in your life show you who's good around you and who's bad. And in the meantime, it's a great thing,
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you find who's the right people around you.
Absolutely.
And you always pray, I want a bad time for me to see what kind of people around me.
Absolutely. And I can even add more to it. At that point, I didn't even have a girlfriend, but the only girl that did care, and the only girl who showed up at the hospital to check on me is my wife here.
Hi, Inga.
She wasn't. We weren't even dating at that point, but she knew. She heard that that's what happened to me, and she was the only girl that I knew that showed up at the hospital to see how I'm doing.
What made her show up?
I don't know. You gotta ask
Come here,
her.
Inga. Come here. Get on the mic. What made you show up?
I mean, at that time we were friends.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I heard that he was almost dead, that probably changed my view on him too. So I kind of realized that I have more feelings for him. And it was not just friendship, I guess. And then everything started from that point.
That's great.
See,
you know
that's
what?
my
For all of
point.
you guys out there, if there's a pretty girl and you want her to like you,
She's so cute.
push yourself to the brink of death and let her know what life would be like if you were gone. Or you could buy a good cologne. It's one of the two. You could buy a good cologne or you could risk your own life. But what an amazing origin story you guys have. When you have a foundation like that, that's such a strong foundation. You guys seem to have such a great friendship too, because even one time I was driving down Venice Boulevard and I saw you guys in the car, and before I waved hi to you, I saw you guys just laughing together, and I'm like, what a great couple.
Yes.
They're so great. So
Thank you.
what a cool thing to have that as an origin story for how you guys met, and for you becoming Bogdan 2.0. Right?
I love that, my friend.
So now you guys are in the Ukraine. You have this crazy thing happen to you. You meet the woman that's going to be the woman you marry.
Yeah.
And do you guys start? When did America start coming into your reality?
So at that point, when the heart attack happened, Inga was already actually in negotiations with some of the colleges in the United States for athletic scholarship.
Oh, awesome! Was she a swimmer as well? Synchronized swimmer. How cool are you guys? The coolest couple we've ever. What the hell?
Yeah.
She's an elite synchronized swimmer. She's a much higher level athlete than I am. She's a European champion. She's a national champion in the United States.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we have to have Inga on an episode too.
Yeah,
It should have been her, not me. So she was already in the negotiations, and after my heart attack happened, basically coaches in Ukraine didn't want to work with me. That was another thing that happened. It looked like nobody wanted to take responsibility, or nobody thought I could ever swim as good as I used to, or even better. So I guess they didn't want to just get involved with me, and so that Inga, made an impression on me, and it sparked something inside of me.
I love you.
And the fact that she was already going to go to the United States to study and compete as an athlete made me think and consider that move as well. And that's exactly what happened.
That's huge, especially at a time when, you can't minimize it. This is your dream sport. So much so that you've dedicated your whole life to it. You've reached a level of elite, and all of a sudden the people who can help you are not looking at you anymore. Because sometimes in sports, we treat people like a number, and coaches are like, this is my job. This kid can't go from A to B. So forget the human. He's just a person, and I can't work with that person. So
It's
for her to be
unfortunate.
there doing that is
But
big.
also in fair way responsibility. In case he swim or do anything, he can risk his life. So it's a responsibility
Sure.
also.
Yeah, no, of
They
course.
care
You got
for
to
his
have
life.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that must have been a great distraction, in the sense that I could see you going through something like that, and if Inga wasn't there, and this next chapter in your life wasn't something that you started to plan almost immediately,
Yes.
you could have got really depressed.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I could see that happen, but things played out the way they did.
Yeah. So you guys are now researching America. You're thinking about coming here. When did the move happen?
So almost immediately, heart attack happened in April 2010. August 2011. I already came from my first semester of college.
Wow. So how old were you when you first came?
20.
Wow, you guys were
Wow,
both so
so
young.
young.
And it was just the two of you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. Wow. So then you and where were you going to school and stuff?
So I got a scholarship at Westchester University of Pennsylvania. It's a really good school.
Yeah, it's a great school.
Right outside Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, this is so cool because I remember seeing now. Okay, this is cool for me because my favorite movie ever was Rocky.
Yes.
And I remember seeing the Instagram of you guys in Philadelphia running up the steps, and you actually got a tattoo.
I got a Rocky tattoo.
Rocky tattoo on your arm. That must have been cool.
Yes.
For a Ukrainian boxer to come to America and go to school outside Philly.
I wasn't a boxer at that time. Boxing was always my favorite sport.
Yeah.
Even when I was obsessed with swimming, and my swimming career was number one thing that mattered to me at some point in my life, boxing was still my favorite sport, and my favorite athlete of all time is Mike Tyson.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah, so that it is cool. Yeah, coming to Pennsylvania, living right outside Philly was amazing. And if I had a chance to change anything about my previous experience with college and moving to the United States or whatever, I wouldn't change a thing. No doubt.
That's great. Okay, well, let me ask you this. You wouldn't change anything, but what would you say was your most challenging period of immigrant when you guys first got here?
Just the entire period when we got here, and the entire school, was very challenging. But the toughest time was my junior year of college. So my 2013, 2014. That's when the war started in Ukraine, and all the bad things started happening. People in the town where I'm from started dying. My city started get bombed and everything. And
by Russia, right?
It's not by Russia. Russia was involved, but Ukraine and Russia had a conflict in our city, basically.
Oh my God!
And so they were, I don't want to get too deep into that.
Sure.
Ukraine, Russia, or the whole politics side of it.
Sure, no worries, no problem. I just mean like from I can't imagine what it would be like to be like my home. A war took place, or conflict took place where the epicenter was my hometown.
Yeah.
That must have been so hard, especially to be so far away.
Yeah, so I was very worried about my parents, about my friends, and all the people that I knew who live in my hometown. Yeah, because every day I check on the news, and I see so many people dying. I see so many terrifying pictures and videos, and the beautiful airport that they built in 2012, especially they opened it in 2012, especially for the European championships in soccer. It was in Poland and Ukraine. Poland and Ukraine shared European championships in soccer. That was actually the airport. Last time I flew out of Ukraine to the United States, I flew out of that airport, which is completely destroyed right now.
No way.
It's completely destroyed, and it's just 10 minutes away from my house. I mean, what made my parents had to move in 2014, and the event that made them move is that they almost got killed. They were chased after because at that point the crime level was insanely high, and those people who were involved in those fightings, I guess, they were very interested in cars, okay, big SUVs, black tinted windows and everything, and that's what my dad had. My dad had a big SUV, black tinted windows, and they were driving with my mom from my dad's work, and the car started chasing after them, and they tried to get away, but they couldn't get away, and so they were pulled out of the car, and my dad was put handcuffs on behind his back, and he was beat up. Those people broke his ribs and everything, and when he was on the ground, he was even shot at the ground right next to his face, and he can, to this day, he can't hear with one of his ears. He almost lost his hearing completely in one of his ears because of that shot those people did. But I think what made those people let my parents go is because my mom was crying and she was yelling that my dad is a doctor. My dad is an orthopedic surgeon, and he was working at the hospital treating all those people who were getting shot and were getting all kinds of injuries and everything. And she was yelling that, listen, he might be saving you tomorrow, or whatever, or he might be saving your body right now. And so we don't know for sure, but we think that what made those people let my parents go.
What a fighter your mom is too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. For her to take control like that, and to be able to think that clearly, and to find a way even though she might have the physical strength to stop all those guys, to find a way to use her brain to stop those guys. That's beautiful.
I mean, that was a very extreme situation, and my mom is very good at acting correctly in extreme situations, I would say. And she acted correctly under threat. I mean, those people threatened cutting her tongue off and everything.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. That's sad, very sad.
But, she did what she did, and I guess her voice was heard. And they were let go, and that on that day, that's when they bought... they actually planned a trip to the United States to see me, to visit me for vacation. It was a 10-day vacation that they had planned, but they ended up just changing that ticket and coming here and never coming back to Ukraine. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So they live here now?
They live in the United States. They live in Westchester, Pennsylvania, where I went to school.
Wow.
So because at that time I was in college, and they moved, and they lived with me for a while, and so they applied for political asylum, and my dad ended up getting a really good job there. So that's where they live right now.
That's great. Wow. Look at the difference in how the two of you came, right? You guys come on like an athletic scholarship.
Yeah.
And they came for asylum.
Yeah.
What a crazy
Do you have
change
a brother and sister?
No, I'm the only child, actually.
Oh,
me too. Only children.
I wish. But it is what it is.
I had a brother, but I ate him.
Yeah, I was going to tell him that.
My mom's a terrible cook, so I ate my brother. I'm like, give me the ketchup.
I was planning for 6 kids, but Tamer, he ate it all.
I ate all the other kids. Look, I ate him with my mouth.
But what a story you have. Wow.
It shows you like how I keep telling this to like, friends that are in America, like when they, especially friends that are like, we should go to war, blah, blah. And I'm like, you don't know what war is. So stop saying that.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is. When you live in places and you come from countries like we come from, I know what a bomb smells like.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was in Egypt touring, I went there during the revolution to perform comedy for the protesters. And it was a Thursday night, and we were going out, and we heard a big explosion. And one of the kids goes, no, don't worry. It's Thursday. It's fine. I'm like, what do you mean it's Thursday? He's like, oh, well, some of the guys that are involved with terrorism, they have regular day jobs. So Friday's their day off. So the real bombs are on Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was so casual.
That's crazy.
So casual. And for me, like our culture changed pretty dramatically from the time we left Egypt, where everything was pretty modern and nice and liberal. And then when I went back to perform, I mean, there was a car outside of the theater that was covered in blood.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's a really religious guy. He sacrificed a sheep to protect his car. And I'm like, that's not the Egypt I know. That's not the way it was when we...
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. How are things now in the Ukraine?
Still not good. Better.
A little better. Yeah, I've heard it's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah. As far as fighting goes and the war, it's calmed down. I mean, it's still a war zone.
Yeah.
Regular people not allowed to go outside after 9 p.m. or something like that.
Wow, so there's a curfew.
Yeah, if you're not participating in the fighting, unless you're a military, person or whatever,
Wow.
you're not allowed to go outside after a certain time.
Your freedom, you don't have any freedoms there.
Well, it's terrifying too
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
never know where a bullet could come through a window, and because it's not just a regular war. There's also like a revolutionary group, right? Like there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's like we forget how thankful and how lucky we are that America is just a giant. It's a big island.
Yeah,
and it's not often
America,
that,
it's a dream for everyone.
Yes.
Dream.
well. It can be. I think there's a lot of other countries that are better than we are right now.
Yeah.
I think America is a dream when you only compare it to developing nations, but we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to other nations. We should be comparing ourselves to Norway and Sweden and England and France and all these other countries. And in a lot of ways, we're not that great anymore.
No, right
You know what
now,
I mean?
no.
Like,
I agree.
So we
agree.
But we should be thankful for the things that we have, for sure, definitely. But wow. So do you have any friends and family that are still there? Are you worried about anymore? Are the closest people with you?
Well, my wife's family is actually still over there in Donetsk, where in our hometown.
Yeah.
Do you have any brother and sisters? Three sisters?
2 sisters, yeah.
So
Yeah.
So can they come? Can they come visit or stay or?
I mean, maybe if they would move that time,
Yeah.
probably they would be able to, adapt. But like now, since it's getting better and like the job's coming back.
Oh, so the word's getting better, or the situation's getting a little bit better.
Exactly. So people are starting to adapt to that life. So
Wow.
my dad just, it's hard to move when you're 50.
Of
Yeah,
course. They've been there their whole lives. It's not as easy as
It's
just
not easy.
picking up and moving.
Exactly.
That
It's
makes
scary
sense.
to leave everything.
Yeah.
That's what my parents
That's your
had to do.
life.
My parents left the house and cars and everything.
Yeah.
All they took was 2 suitcases and 2 dogs.
Wow. You know what's funny? I had this friend say this thing to me. He's like, "Why wouldn't you just leave?" And I go, "Listen, man. Have you ever seen a woman who was in a relationship with a guy that treated her badly or hit her or abused her, and she kept going out with the same guy? It's because I would rather be with what's familiar, even if it hurts a little bit, than be with something new that's completely unfamiliar. Because unfamiliar is so scary.
Yeah.
You don't know when it's going to happen, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But
Fear of the unknown. Yeah.
Fear
That's
of
what
the
stops
unknown.
people.
the whole Bogdan family has a 2.0. You started life over after the heart attack. Your parents started life over with. They started with 2 suitcases and a dog, and you started with one beautiful synchronized swimmer.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a life, huh?
Wow.
Great story.
It is a really great story. Yeah.
My heart was pumping like your heart when you have a heart attack. I can't believe it. He went through all that. But you know what? Like I told you, bad time show you the good people and bad people.
Absolutely.
And you win beautiful women. Through hard time, she stand up by you.
Absolutely.
Now we have to put a picture of Inga with Shark's
you have
picture.
to invite her to talk about
Yeah, we have to have you on an episode as well.
She has a separate time for her because she looks
deserves
very
it. She deserves
awesome
it.
women.
So let me here's the thing that I love about a lot of my immigrant friends, especially friends who've gone through tough times. If I didn't know any of this about you, and I walked in to Box and Burn and saw you in the club, I'd be like, that guy's such a sweetheart. You're always smiling. I think you're the one who runs the class with the kids a lot of times.
Yeah, I'm a kids instructor.
You're a kids instructor as well, but you're a badass boxing instructor. You're not just for kids, obviously, but you're always smiling. You're always positive. You're always like, I've never seen you look down.
Because he cheats the death. He cheats. So
I love that you said he cheated the death.
Yes. Yeah.
It makes it sound so much more intense, right?
Yeah.
He didn't cheat death. He cheated the death.
Okay, whatever.
That's it. Do you want to hear a crazy story about that?
Yeah.
When I was in school, I went to a field trip at La Brea Tar Pits. And then the guy, he was talking to my teacher and he said, "Oh, attendance has been down. People haven't been coming to the tar pits." And when we got back to school, the teacher told us to send a thank you letter to the guy at La Brea Tar Pits. And I wrote him in the letter, thank you. If you need help getting people, I think you should change the name from La Brea Tar Pits to La Brea Pits of Tar. And the guy messaged me, wrote me a letter back with 2 free tickets to come. He goes, "That's a great idea, buddy. Thanks a lot." But they never changed the name, Mom.
I see.
But I think we should change it to Cheating the Death.
Yeah, he did. He
I
did
like that
good
better.
job.
I think he did.
He challenged the deaths. Nobody can do that except he's a very strong man.
I agree.
He faced it, and since then you change your life.
Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
So let's
appreciate
hear
it.
about the other side now. You come across, that was the toughest time. What about now? What's your best period of time since you've been in America?
Right now,
Oh, I love that answer so much.
Why? Tell
Right
me
now.
why.
because actually right now is the only thing we ever have.
Yeah.
Whatever already happened, it happened in this moment. It never happens in the past or future. Whatever will happen, it's not going to happen in the future. It's going to happen.
You gotta be present.
So yeah, that's what through all this tough time and everything, you know, when all those terrible things were happening, I'm no stranger to depression and anxiety and all kinds of mental problems I had to battle. So through that, I learned that
You became a very wise man.
presence is what I had to learn, and that's what helped me to become stronger, wiser, and ultimately overcome those things, those difficult times of my life. And right now I'm more present than I ever been, and
That's
I could not be more grateful for this breath I'm taking right now.
That's
Wow.
great, man.
Great.
Do you is any of the learnings that you've had, or any of them represented in the tattoos that you have?
100%. Yes. Every single one of my tattoos represents something. I have tattoos dedicated to the day of my heart attack. I have tattoos that represent me coming to the United States and going to college. I have tattoos who represent me and my character fighting.
Yeah.
The big tribal tattoo on my arm is a warrior tattoo, because that's who I am. I'm a warrior. No matter what life throws at me, I'm going to keep on fighting and battle those things and overcome for a better life, to achieve my goals and dreams and live the life that I want to live and I deserve to live.
Right on. I love it. I love that.
I love it.
Your tattoos sound like chapters in your book.
100%. Yeah.
What about the chains on your hand?
The tattoo on my hand, it says family and who you're born with, and it's who you die for. And the 2 chains represent my wife and I, because our connection is so strong that we're bound together like
Look
chains.
at her face. Look at her face.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really sweet.
So
Yeah.
the 2 chains represent me and my wife, and the light element represents the good that we're looking for, the light that we're going to
Yes.
in our life together, because it was our dream to live in Los Angeles here, and we made a move without having anything. You know, we didn't have, a job lined up or anything.
Sure.
We didn't have a lot of money.
You were
We just
crazy.
made it. We just
Yeah.
went for it, and right now we're living our best life. We by no means we're rich or anything, but we live the best life we ever lived, and we're so grateful. And I know if we keep going and keep doing what we're doing together as a family, things are only going to keep getting better. And that's the reason I'm so thankful for this exact moment, because
100%. It makes sense.
because that's what I achieved so far, and it would be stupid of me to not appreciate what I have right now.
Of course. Yeah. It would be stupid, but it wouldn't be so uncommon. There's a lot of people who do.
Yeah.
So it's great that you acknowledge
And
it. but
I've
you
been
also do
there,
it.
and
Yeah.
I've been there, and I had to learn that was a mistake, not being appreciative of this moment.
Can I give you a hug?
Please,
Yeah.
please, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're so awesome.
You're so
oh
sweet.
my God.
You're so sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See, whenever she meets another bald guy, she's like,
Yeah.
"That's a son.
Yeah.
Hey, it looks like
is.
one of mine."
Yeah.
Thank you so
You're
much.
so great. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So what about you? Now you seem like boxing is a big passion for you now.
Yes.
And when did that happen?
Boxing, fitness, boxing and fitness, that's what I do. I work in the fitness industry, and boxing is a big part of that. Boxing is super popular. Boxing for fitness is so popular. I mean, you know it.
Yeah.
That's what brings you to Box and Burn.
Yeah.
This is my life. This is who I am. I absolutely love my job. It's another reason to be this happy as I am right now.
Yeah.
Because I absolutely love my job. There is not a day that goes by that I don't thank for this job. I don't thank God that for this job, for everything I have, for where I live, for my wife, for my dogs, for people around me, for my friends, for my family, for everything, So yeah.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's really great.
It's a great story.
It's a great story.
Yeah,
It's
great story.
Really inspiring.
Sad and good and very, very tough. You're a very tough man.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of your wife also.
Thank you very much.
She stood up by you in a hard time.
Yes.
And that's the connection here.
Yes.
When you need somebody, she was there. And you was just a friend. But the connection came from this moment.
Yes.
And I believe she's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we can tell.
I can tell.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
So what's the future look like? Do you have any goals or plans moving forward? Like what's the next chapter look like for Shark?
My goals and plans, I just want to live in the moment, be present, enjoy my life right now, do my best right now, work my hardest right now, and see what kind of fruits I achieve from my hard work that I put in, day out, because that's what I had to learn. Like I said, being present and living in the moment and doing what's right at this moment is a secret to a happy life and successful life, I think. And so I don't think about next chapter too much. I know I want to achieve better things. It's not a secret for anybody. Anybody wants to make more money and be more successful, have a bigger house, have more opportunity to travel and enjoy themselves. But so yeah,
that makes sense. I like that answer. I liked it. It's like, I'm going to live in the present.
I apologize. Sometimes I get stuck in the middle of my answer because you have to forgive me. English is my third language. Sometimes I can't structure my answer as pretty as I try. You
still made perfect sense.
Great.
Thank you.
I get what you're saying. It's a good reminder to me sometimes. It is important to be present. And I did this thing, for example, there's this guy who put me through this intention setting class, and I didn't know what it was at first. He just said, I want you to come in and be prepared for next year to be a big year for you. So I said, okay. We come into this class. We went to Netflix's headquarters, right? And I was there with a bunch of big comedians, like kind of famous guys. And then he goes, I want you guys to write down how you felt about your comedy career last year. And last year for me was kind of like the years before. I was winning awards. I was on TV shows, all this stuff. Last year it wasn't flat, but for me, it felt like I didn't have a big thing.
Last year is when you went to New York, correct?
Yes, exactly. I was in New York. And when I came back, I wrote down last year was flat. So he goes, okay, don't show anybody, just write that down. He goes, now for the next 2 hours, I want you to go back to the calendar, January 1 of last year, and write down every single thing you accomplished. And halfway through that 2-hour process, I started to feel really bad at how bad I was treating myself. Because I wasn't being present, I wasn't appreciating all the hard work. It was like I was running a marathon without drinking water, without stopping and telling myself, good job. Like you did this and you did that and you did this. So halfway through, I crossed out that sentence. I'm like, my year wasn't flat at all. I had a good year. It's important to be present, not just philosophically, because for human beings, I think we need it to be strong. Yes. I think the way you are strong is by appreciating what you have.
Yes.
That's what makes you strong.
Yes.
So you said it perfectly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You speak 3 languages?
Yeah. English is my third. My first, although I'm from Ukraine, the area of Ukraine, Eastern Ukraine, Donetsk is where I'm from. Main language there is Russian. We live very close to a border with Russia, and I mean, it used to be USSR. It used to be
Sure.
there was no Ukraine. There was Ukrainian part of USSR, whatever.
Yeah.
But
I wish we could do that to Florida. Like if we could just cut Florida away and be like, you be Armenian now. stay away. I'm sorry to my Armenian friends. You're nothing like Florida. You're more Vegas. I love Armenians.
So it happened to be that Russian is my first language, but because I was still, USSR fell apart in 1991 after I was born, and Ukraine became independent country, and so schools and movie theaters and newspapers and everything was in Ukrainian.
Yeah.
And I can understand Ukrainian perfectly. I just don't use it.
Sure.
As
Yeah.
much.
Now let me ask you, this is going to be a slightly off topic, but what is it about Ukrainian boxers? Like where did like Lomachenko come from? I mean, his nickname is High Tech.
Yeah.
There's something going on in the Ukraine. What is it that makes boxers there so good?
Adversity, nobody's set up for success in Ukraine, and if you really, people who make it there are the toughest motherfuckers, and that's what Lomachenko is.
Yeah.
And he had right people around him from the beginning. His father, his head coach from. I mean, he was destined to be where he
was
is
almost
right
a
now.
prodigy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when there are right people around you who guide you in the right way and help you overcome all those things that are going on in Ukraine, because, odds are always against you in Ukraine. Nobody gives you there are no athletic scholarships like here. There are no facilities like here. There are no professional trainers and coaches and physical therapists and massage therapists and everything and psychologists like here. So from the beginning, the odds are against us. And the ones who make it from these kind of countries like ours are the ones who want it so bad that nobody here wants it so bad.
That's it. And you know what? I'll tell you the honest truth. I think that's if you really dig into racism in America against immigrants, that's it. It's the fear. They know that we had to work so much harder than people here, that they're afraid that people are willing to come here and work harder for the same money. And that scares them. And that's not new.
Or even less money.
Or even less money. And that's not new. It happened to black people, and then it happened to Irish people, and then it happened to it's almost like America's this fraternity, and every pledge class gets hazed and mistreated. But I think that's the real fear. I think a lot of people fear immigrants for the same reason kids in a classroom that's graded on a curve fear nerds. They're like, this kid's going to work too hard, and he's going to turn my C- into a D. They're not afraid. They don't think we're criminals. They don't think we're bad. They don't think we're this and that. They're afraid of us because of how hard we work. And that is actually un-American. Because the definition of capitalism is competition, is to work and to let the best rise to the top. And there's plenty for everybody. Yeah. But that's what I respect about all immigrants, that every single one of us are fighters. Because for us to get here, we had to get through adversity.
Yeah. I agree.
But dude, thank you so much for being on. How do people find you? Are you looking for clients? Because I'll tell you, you're one of the funnest guys to hit mitts with, and to watch box. You always have like really cool new ways of learning different drills and stuff. So where do people find you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram. My business account is shark_BNB for Box and Burn. Go if you're interested, if you give a shit, go ahead and follow me. And if you're interested in working with me, boxing, or you have other fitness goals, please reach out. Please don't hesitate. I would love to talk to you and see what your goals are, and help you accomplish those goals. So
Inga, did he play hard to get with you? If you're interested if you give a shit.
You're coming.
You're coming.
I'll see you at 1 p.m.
That's awesome. Well, dude, thanks so much for being on.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's an honor. I had the best time. Thank you very much.
Awesome, dude. You were great.
You're
a pleasure
amazing.
and an honor.
You're
Thank you
amazing.
so
No, it
much.
was an honor having you. You're
Yeah.
great.
Thank you so
And you
much.
will
High
succeed.
five.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
You are
you.
great.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of They Tried to Bury Us, guys. Follow Shark_BNB. His episode comes out real soon. If you're looking for anything stand-up comedy, you could follow me at tamerkattan.com. On Twitter, it's at Tamer Kattan. On Instagram, it's Tamer Kat with a K. And if you're following my mom, which is a little creepy, you could follow her on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle, Mom?
Kity Kattan.
Kity Kattan. It's and it's Kity with 1 T.
Yeah, Kity.
Kity. And don't send her any mean messages.
I'm the greatest.
She's the greatest. Look at the arrogance. I love it. I made a monster. Look at your head. You look like Hello Kitty right now.
Yeah.
Such a big head.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
Thanks.
love it too. I'm so proud of this guy. Shark.
Shark.
Oh my God.
I'm
you
proud of him
are
too.
Shark.
He is a shark. That's
He's
great.
a winner.
He is a winner.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Please keep reviewing, rating, tell all your friends, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.